am so excited. My Captain Rex just got here today and I can't wait to see what he looks like. So let's go ahead and open him up. Alright, here is the box. Looks pretty cool. Alright. Ooh, this is cool. Kind of wish he didn't have the binoculars on this artwork or this print, but it's still really cool. All right. I'm sorry if you hear dogs barking. We're dog sitting right now, so they're a little noisy. All right, so here he is right out of the box. We got the jetpack, a couple of little accessories here, more accessories in the box. All right, let's take him out. All right, here we go. So here's these accessories. So we've got the jetpack and then the fire for the jetpack, just like with the 501st. We've got his blasters. We've got this blaster. This is his little pouch for his chest. I don't quite know what this is, but we'll find out. Alright, so let's set that down and pop him open. Alright, so he's got his Phase 2 helmet. He comes with a head and then a 3/32 helmet. He's got a couple different pairs of hands, visor. This is the little flashlight that goes on his helmet. Alright, let's have a look at the instructions on the bottom and see what they say. Okay. So this thing right here is to remove a part from inside his helmet so that you can put the flashlight and his binoculars on. Okay, cool. So it does have instructions for how to put the light and the binoculars on. And then it also has instructions for putting the pouch on his chest, the blasters in their holders, and then putting the jetpack on. And then also changing his head and putting the stand together. So quite a bit involved with these instructions. It doesn't have how to change the hands on here, which again I mentioned in my last one, which isn't that big of an issue because they're just ball and joints, so you change them the same way you would change the head. You just pop them off and pop the new ones back on. But if you don't know that, if this is your first figure or whatever, it's kind of something that they should include in the instructions. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull him out, have a look at him. Alright, so like the other one, it just has plastic wrapped around his arms and legs. Okay, let's see. Alright, so the range of his scope does move, but it's a little kind of makes me a little nervous to move it just because the stem is so thin. But his rangefinder does move. So I'm just testing all of his joints. That's nice. Alright, let me... Okay, so yeah, that does sometimes happen with the hands. If you bend them too far, they're just gonna pop off. If you bend that wrist joint too far. Alright. So he's got some decent mobility. Alright, so all the joints are very nice. Okay. So here, so here's his helmet. It's very nicely painted. You can see that they put the welding joints on there and put some like dirt around them. And here's the back of his helmet. The top. So he does have his signature tally marks on there and the J guys. He's got the tally marks on his gauntlets and his hands. There's those. And then he does have some on his shins. Here is his abs and his belt. Here's his commas. And then the back. So it all looks very, very nice. I think my biggest complaint is he's very gray. He's showing up slightly brighter than he actually is in person on the camera, but his armor is more of a gray tone than it is white, which I guess you could get away with calling it weathering, but for me his armor is a little too dark. It's a little too gray. I prefer it to be a little bit whiter, but that's just my personal preference. He does have some like green spots and weathering going on, so he could have been walking through a forest, which is pretty cool. My other complaint is you can see the gap right here between his chest and abs. Again, I had that complaint with the previous one where the chest plate just seems to rise up a little bit. So it does create a little bit of a gap right there. So kind of wish that they would bring the ab plate up a little higher underneath the chest plate so you didn't get that gapping as much. Or maybe make the chest plate fit a little bit looser so it didn't tend to ride up. But he's got a very, very nice paint job, very nice weathering. It all looks pretty consistent. His back looks like it is consistent with it and everything. It's not like the Coruscant Trooper, that his back was a little less weathered than the rest of him. So he is so cool. I'm so happy. Alright, let's set him aside and have a look at all of his accessories. Alright, so here is the jetpack. He's got some blue detailing on there and some weathering. So it looks like it's pretty consistent with his weathering. And then it's got some foam on it for when it's actually on him. And then it does just attach with a magnet on his back. Here's one of the flames. And they just pop into the bottom. They just pop into the bottom like that. It's a little tight, so I don't want to force it in any farther than that, because it doesn't really want to fit in any farther than that. Just because of how tight the fit is, and I don't want to risk breaking it by forcing it to do something that it doesn't want to. Kind of annoying that the flames don't actually fit in flush against this little cone. I probably could make them, but I don't want to risk breaking anything. Alright, so here's here's a little pouch. It does appear to be made out of some type of faux leather or vinyl. It doesn't seem like it's plastic. And it's got little buttons on it, and then it does attach with a magnet, which you can see right there. It just attaches to his chest. Here are his signature pistols. Very nice. Nice metallic paint job on them. Some faint silver highlights like usual. And then here is the blaster. Movable part. Looks pretty much the same as the previous ones that I've gotten. Alright, so now let's look at the pieces in here. So he does actually only have 3.5 sets of hands, so he only has 7 hands. So 4 for one side and 3 for the other. Which is interesting that they didn't do complete full 4 sets or just leave it at the 3. But the paint job looks to be pretty consistent among all of them. They all look very nice. And then here is the 3/32 helmet, which you actually can put on him, which is fun. I do already have the 3/32 helmet because I do have the 501st Deluxe version. And then these are just extra wrist joints. And then his head looks really cool. Nice glossy eyes. Blonde hair. Alright, and then we have the stand. So, same stand, same base as the Coruscant Guard and 501st Trooper. So that's nice that they're all consistent. And then it has the same holder as the 501st Guard, which this is a nicer holder than the Coruscant one. This one will actually grab onto your figure and hold it in place. Alright. And here is the binoculars. Very nice. They have some light weathering on them. And then the light, which looks like it might be a little bit bent, but still very nice, and looks like the paint job is consistent with the rest of him even for this little piece. So now let's get him set up to display. Okay, so one thing I did notice is the top of Rex's base is lighter than the Coruscant Guard and the 501st Trooper. Theirs is a bit darker. So here's the Coruscant Guard and Rex. So theirs are a bit more of a bronze, or theirs is a bit more closer to a black, or even a dark brown with some copper weathering. And then Rex's is a light gray with silver weathering. So it's nice that they are at least the same base, they are the same design and everything, but kind of annoying that they don't have the same paint job when those two have the same paint job and the third's different, but whatever. Alright, so here he is all set up. He looks so cool. And like with the 501st, I did bend the stand like this so that he's actually standing on his base. I kind of wish that you didn't have to bend the stand like this just to make him stand actually fully on the base. But I do like this holder better than the Coruscant Guard. So I will take this over the stupid holder that the Coruscant Guard has. He looks so cool. I am so happy with him, and I'm so glad I was able to add him to my collection. So I did give him his blasters, and I did put the little pouch on here, so it does just magnet on like that. He is beautiful. So here he is next to Cody. They look amazing next to each other. As you can see, Cody does have a different base than the other ones. He's got like a desert sand base. I don't really like his base because it does actually have footprints in it. But this isn't about Cody, this is about Rex. But here they look next to each other. So cool. And here he is next to the Coruscant Guard. Again, there is a color difference between the bases, but they all have the same little nameplate. They look so cool next to each other. And then, of course, the 501st Trooper, which mine does have the 332nd helmet on. And here's the comparison of the 501st Deluxe version and the 332nd helmet that comes with Rex. They are very, very similar. I think the only difference is just a couple of little tiny minor differences in the weathering, but they do actually have the same weathering and paint job. And then here is how these two look next to each other. So here you can kind of see the difference. You can see how Rex's armor is a little bit darker, a little bit more gray than the 501st. And that's what I mean. I like the color of this armor better rather than Rex's. His is definitely darker, and I would prefer the lighter one. But that's just my personal preference. Some people may prefer the darker paint job. And then again, the different color bases. But he is still absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to get him set up on my shelf with these other ones. I just have to make room. So if you have been on the fence about getting Rex and are not sure about it, I would definitely say get him. He's absolutely amazing, and I'm so happy I have him in my collection. So I hope you guys found this informative, and I hope you found it entertaining. If you've picked up any of these figures, please let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!